It's always the money. You make a lot of money. Yeah, you make a lot of money in this business for sure. If you don't kill it in the business, it'll kill you.
The next generations of millionaires in America, they're going to be the plumbers, electricians, and HVAC.
Yeah, it's not going to help them at all.
Why?
Because it's a different process.
You don't have to teach me, I can teach you.
You hear that, Gen Z? Have more patience, man.
And have respect for the rulers.
It sucks, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's not your money anymore.
When you pay technicians on hourly base, you're actually dealing with zombies. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a podcast with Scott Slate.
Hi, I'm Scott Slate, and I'm a home services professional here to talk about my experiences in the field for the last 28 years. So I hope you like it.
We're going to be covering the industry from HVAC to all trades in the home services. We're going to be covering the CRM. We're going to be covering the sales techniques, how to actually start the business, how to scale business, how to exit business, who to talk when you are exiting. It's going to be really interesting. Keep watching. Thank you. Hey, Scott, thanks for joining to my podcast.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, man. Yeah.
Tell me about your background, like how you start doing like a coaching in HVAC.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the Midwest in a family that built their own houses, worked on their own cars, stuff like that. So we grew up pretty handy. And my dad was a sheet metal knocker. He was a tin knocker. So every day he'd go to work, he'd come home with his hands all cut up and everything. It actually got so bad that he had to have carpal tunnel surgery. I grew up, running our own HVAC systems in our houses. It was one of those we can always do it ourselves cheaper. So let's learn how to do it, right? My first job when I was a teenager, when I was 13 years old, was installing outdoor air conditioning systems.
Oh, you did installation at 13 years old.
That's the first thing I did, was learn how to do low voltage, high voltage, brazing, all that stuff.
How you end up in Hollywood?
In Hollywood?
Yeah.
I ended up in Hollywood because I wanted to take a break from all of that. So I went to Hollywood to be on TV, to be a fitness model.
Okay, interesting.
When I was 19, I went to New York and I did one of those competitions, where they see if you got it kind of thing. So when I was 28 years old, I left with like $1,300 in my bank account and a F-150 and packed everything in it, and I came out and just made it work, just hustled, man. And then I did some like fitness type commercials, did some, like funny skits for like Paris Hilton's show back. She had like the BFF show.
When did you move to LA?
I moved to LA in 2009?
2009?
Yeah.
And we met in 2000, what was that?
We met in 2015.
We were 2015,
Yeah, so
right.
we go back about 10 years.
So yeah, it's been 10 years.
Yeah,
now.
it's been 10
Right,
years.
It's been 10 years, wow.
Yeah, I looked up HVAC companies in the area with like the best reviews.
Okay.
And
It was smart.
you had 5 stars all the way across the board. And I'm like, all right, let's call them first. So ended up working out.
Yeah,
You had
yeah.
a bunch of reviews, all 5 stars. So
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
how it worked.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So you've been doing some sales then, right? Like in LA, then the coaching.
Yeah, I mean, I went from like install to learning how to just sell equipment. I combine all of it when I teach, everything that I've learned from back when I was like really young up until now. And it always, it always progresses. It always changes.
If you compare the trades like now, the past 10 years, past 20 years, I don't know how long you remember, and how you see it in the future of trades.
Well, when I first started, we were still using map books to get around. There was MapQuest, I think, but
Yeah.
there was no like Waze or Google Maps or anything like that.
I remember when I just moved into LA 2003, I was working in a moving company. They would give us like, we would holding at maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, to move around people because it was no like maps. Then Yahoo came up with the maps. Yeah.
And then MapQuest, right?
MapQuest.
You'd have to print it out before you left your house. I think the street's coming up next, right? Now we have, Waze, Google Maps, Apple Maps, all that stuff. But when I first started, like we were still writing stuff down on paper.
Yeah.
Our full spiel on paper, and then the estimates and everything. And now we're on to CRMs now. Technology's really progressed. The financing, especially, I don't have to call for financing anymore.
Yeah.
Just type it right up on the iPad. So it's with the introduction of AI now.
Yeah.
It's gonna go even further. And as we get older, it's kind of harder to keep up with that stuff. So AI has really actually started to revolutionize our industry with them being able to incorporate it into like thermostats and things like that.
Right.
Rilla. We have Rilla now that actually record the technician when they're in the home too, and then give them feedback
Correct.
when they're done. So we didn't have any of that.
Yeah,
When I was growing up, it's really crazy how far it's come, in 20, 25 years, 30 years. I've been doing this almost 30 years now.
What do you think is going to happen in the future?
Well, I don't think that you're going to look. I've seen some of these big companies out there try and have the technician set up an iPad in front of a customer and have a guy back at the office, somewhere at the office, not even locally, try and sell somebody a system over a Zoom.
Yep.
And
do you believe in virtual sales?
I can really only speak for mechanical, electrical, plumbing, HVAC. I don't see how you replace that in-person customer experience with an actual live person in front of you.
What about the generation like baby boomers, millennials, and Gen Zs? Do you think that when that generation will shift, do you think the buying habits will change?
That's a tough one. I mean, the work ethic itself doesn't seem like it used to be when I was growing up, right? You work as hard as you want to succeed, to grow. If you don't want to grow, you're not going to work that hard in this industry. My dad always said, if you're not growing, you're dying in this industry. And it's absolutely true. If you don't kill it in the business, it'll kill you. So no, I mean, it's all about your work ethic. It's how much do you want to make? Because the sky's the limit when it comes to this stuff. Yeah. We're always going to need this stuff. We're always going to have shelter. We're always going to have a toilet. We're going to have that air conditioning and heating pretty much wherever we're at in the industry.
If you'd like to see more of these kind of videos, please like, comment, and subscribe and share with your friends. And we're going to be glad to share our experience. About sales, do you think anyone can become a salesperson, or it's a talent you should be born with?
It's kind of a loaded question, but I think it's possible. But again, it's like a drug addict, right? We can show them the path, but they're literally the ones that have to walk the path to get better. You got to deep down inside want to get better and want to change. And I think if somebody has that, a lot of it is natural talent. There are some things you can give people, but the natural talent, something you just can't.
Do you use profiling, like disc assessment profiling? Do you believe in personality?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I believe in the culture surveys, the culture indexes and stuff, because it tells us a lot more about ourselves than I think we actually would know too, which is really scary, right? It gives you like 4 paragraphs about yourself. So no, I really do believe in that stuff. I mean, culture index takes like 5 minutes, and it tells you like everything about yourself for the last 30 years, So no, I mean, I really do believe in those. Use the technology where available. Yeah, absolutely.
When you're coaching, and I believe you have different packages, right? Like what kind of package do you have?
I'm kind of a unicorn in the industry. Let's start there really quick, right? Because I don't know anybody else that really does what I do in the HVAC business, right? Where I can literally drop into your organization as long as you have the right CRM, you have financing, you make it easy for me to close a deal in the field, to where I can actually drop in, ride with the tech, tell them shut up, just watch the call, and I can combine the the service knowledge with the customer relationship experience and being able to sell and close the deal at the same time, give it like a repair versus replace. So I normally rely on the company to actually choose the people that they want me to ride with based on like their personality type.
Okay.
And kind of like maybe during the interview where that person wanted to take their career, if they wanted to actually make this a career, if it was just a job. But having a really open-minded individual that's young, that's not like already set in their ways, because I've taught people that I've literally rode from 2 or 3 days and showed them, we sold $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in a couple of days, and come back and ask the owner, and I was like, how's this guy doing? It's like, yeah, he's not doing anything you taught him. So they really strive to have those young guys,
younger,
fresh out of college.
That works better than
fresh out of trade school.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're working much better than someone who's older, right? Like someone already been doing sales, and they're probably going to tell you, I already don't know what you're telling me. Like, you don't have to teach me, I can teach you.
Yeah, it's like a stockbroker. They don't want to hire existing brokers, right? Yeah. They want to train new ones, right? Because they're not corrupted by the industry. It's very, very similar in our business too. Like, again, if somebody's my age or are a little older and they really deep down want to change it up and do better. And if they're okay listening to a little bit younger guy, teach them how to do it, then great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's just, it's I can provide the foundation, but they just have to run with it.
How long it takes for like a young guy out of the college to learn sales?
If he doesn't have any sales experience whatsoever, it'll probably take at least a year or two.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
But if you had some kind of car sales or whatever, the sales experience, a little bit.
Yeah, it's not going to help him at all.
Why?
Because it's a different process. I mean, look, the customer experience thing is the biggest thing. And it's something that I've taught myself too, after continuing to go on these ride-alongs with companies. And I guess if you're good with people already and you don't make it all about the product that you're trying to sell, then okay, then you'll succeed. But the very specifics of what I do and the process that I run, look, it's my own. Yeah. And they can have really good interactions with customers while they're selling cars and stuff like that. But then how do you take that and adapt that to an air conditioning system that's broken that may need to be replaced, may not need to be replaced? You just have to have the right words.
How much the salespeople can make?
Yeah, I mean, that's another loaded question, but a bunch. I mean, you can go from just being a maintenance tech to owning your own business, growing it and selling it within 10 years and cashing out for a few $1,000,000. So no, you make a lot of money. Yeah, you make a lot of money in this business for sure.
Yeah. Do you believe the next millionaires are like the trade coming out from the trade from HVAC, plumbing, and electrical?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen quite a few people do it already.
Yeah. Private equity is coming and buying out those home service companies like in high multiplier.
Yeah, PE's buying up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look, that's good. That means you've done it right. That means you're valuable. You've done it right. You got enough members. Mm-hmm. You got the right processes in place. What kills me though is when a PE company comes in and they don't run with what made that company successful.
Okay, tell me more about it.
Well, I used to work for a company, I won't name them. I used to work for a company back in Naples, Florida. Mm-hmm. It ended up being like a $40-50 million company eventually for plumbing, electric, and HVAC. And they brought this guy in from a car company, a car rental company. Didn't know anything about HVAC. Put him in as like top dog there, and come in and fired like the top 7-8 people in the office, and then just watch the technicians just drop like flies. Came in, laid down a bunch of red tape, completely changed the price book, just kind of took it from the family business that it was to just more of a corporate type place. Yeah. Increased the prices like crazy, and then expected the average sales guys there to be able to sell a $15,000 system right out of the book.
What happened to the company afterwards?
It's still going. It's just culture-wise, it's just shot.
All P's are different depending on what P and what strategy and philosophy that they have behind the business, like when they're building a holding company.
Yeah.
And who they hire as a management.
And some of them do come in and they do really improve the business by forking over some cash and, getting a better CRM like a Service Titan, getting good financing for the company and constantly training their technicians, which is where I come in, obviously. So
what is the sweet spot on the company was what is the minimum size they have to do on revenue wise or technician wise, and what is the maximum? Where do you kind of consult?
Yeah, I'm usually the sweet spot's normally around a $3 to $5 million company that's looking
3 to 5, yeah.
That's
how many technicians they have? How many?
They're gonna have to have at least 4 to 5 techs in the field, 4 to 5 install teams.
Yeah.
And, at least a front office with 4 or 5 people, back office 4 or 5 people. It's going to have to be 20 employees, mainly minimum, and clearly set goals for the company and what they want to achieve. Like, look, I'm not always a fit for the company, and they're not always a fit for me, right? It's like I tell my technicians, is like, does every customer want your company? They're like, no. Then why do you want every customer? You don't. Organically through our process, we'll figure that out.
Yep.
Right. So I mean, if it depends on where the company wants to go and what they're going to do with the money.
Yeah.
After they get their profits, what do they do with it?
If you need the help as building, growing, and scaling your business, and you might need an operational help, you might need the sales help, you are always welcome to reach out to us or comment it here or find it on the profile, and one of our team members will reach out to you and schedule an appointment. Then we will help you. We're going to be glad to help. We want to share all the knowledge, all the experience we have here to help you to grow, because as we said, The partnerships is everything. What kind of results do you see afterwards, like after 1 year or 2 years, after you kind of help that company to coach and train their technicians?
Yeah.
Do their revenue goes up or stays the same? What would they do?
I've been very, very fortunate. I started training, national sales training on this in 2021, and I've been very fortunate that most of the companies, I'd say 90% of the companies that I've went out to train with at least once are still growing, are still adding.
So it's be basically doubling their revenue, right?
Oh, easily.
Easily. So
If I-
basically, they get their return on investment like what, within the 6 months or even less, probably, right? If you look on the net revenue wise, but if you really
Yeah.
look at the company valuation wise, let's say they've been doing a 3 million or 5 million, the company valued at probably 3-5 million, but after like a year or two, once you help them to grow, now they're doing like 6 or 10 million. So basically, they just added on the top, they doubled the valuation of the company. So actually, for that price, how much you charge, about 25,000?
It's between 25 and 50,000,
25 to 50,
depending on how many
yeah.
weeks I'm out there, right? And they're always going to get their money back no matter what with the sales. And I think that's one thing that it's so hard to like give up that 25, 50K in the beginning. You're like, look, I'm going to sell 100, 200 for you. Like a 50, 55% gross margin, you're going to break even
Yeah.
by the time I leave. And then the training stays. And if your guys continue to implement the training after I leave, like, look, you're going to be millions of
So
dollars.
basically, you're giving them for 25 or 50,000. You are working on the field with the technician, actually bringing in the revenue.
That's why I say I'm a unicorn. Nobody does that. Everybody just goes out and does that classroom training for 3 or 4 days. Some of them are lazy and they do like half days of training. Like, come on, what do you do with the rest of your day? Really? You don't want to jump in the truck with a text, right? There are people that jump in the truck with a text, but they'll just charge a flat fee. They won't give like a sales guarantee or anything. They'll be like 3 days and then they're gone. That's why we would build something in the beginning, so in 10 years, 15 years, we can get that payout, maybe do it again.
Do you think that whatever you do trainings, it's going to work for other industries like plumbing, electrical, or other home services as well?
Foundation-wise, yes, it will. Because look, it's, again, 70 to 80% of what I do in the home is building a relationship with the customer. That's really it. It's talking about other stuff. It's not talking about the HVAC. It's not talking about this. It's getting them to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
People's favorite word is their own name, right? So I say their name many times, but I also asking them about the pictures that are on the walls. You know, if I see their license plates from out of state, we talk about that.
Let's say when you are going to those fields, or like what do you see on the field? Like if you get 10 appointments, how many of those appointments should close, average?
It depends on what kind of call that we're on, right? So if we're on a service call, it's a high demand service call, you know, you should be closing 80, 90%.
89%.
80 to 90% of
Wow.
those service, you should at least close with the minimum ticket, right? You should. Because look, it's broke and they need it fixed.
Oh yeah, on repair was 89%.
Right? But if it's a
correct, yes.
maintenance call, depending on how old the system is and whether they installed it or
Right.
not, you know, you should be 40%
Yeah.
closing minimum on those at average ticket $750 to $1,000.
What about just a straight estimate?
Very difficult these days. Very difficult these days. But obviously with the right process can still be done. Look, I think I can take the comfort consultant position completely out of a company just by sending my best tech there that actually does repair versus replace.
Uh-huh.
I can just send him because he's not dressed like a salesman. He's dressed like a technician. So he's already starting to bring that customer's wall down. And he's technical. He can go over the system first technically with his hands versus just pulling on a book and saying, okay, here's the prices. Because when you get marketed leads, I mean, they're just price shoppers.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to be your lowest price. It doesn't do anybody any good. It doesn't grow a company to be the lowest price. With the right CRM, with the right tech in front of that customer and enough time spent with that customer, you know, they can still close at 30, 40%.
30-40%,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, got it. So what about the average ticket? What is average ticket in the industry? What is the right ones?
Yeah, you see, so since I've been in the business, prices have not went down. Not once have prices went down. Systems have only gotten more expensive. Parts have only gotten more expensive.
Right.
Diagnosis fees have only gotten more expensive. Gas, insurance, uniforms has only gotten more expensive. Depending on a company's, you know, average price per lead, versus the time of year, right? Because that really matters too. The less leads we have, the more expensive they are, the more valuable they are, right? So that's what I would say. Yeah, I mean, especially a tech that's just starting out that knows a little bit of service, you know, a little bit of maintenance. If they can stick around $800 to $1,000 average ticket, company be happy. Company be really happy with them. Absolutely. And if they learn how to slow down, I see these companies 5-6 calls on text per day, and it's like they're just going to rush through it. You're not going to get the results that you want.
What do you think is the biggest challenge of business owners who runs a contracting business, like home service business?
It's a good one. That's a good question. I was ready for the good questions today. What is their pricing?
Okay.
You know, are they able to train their technicians on how to justify that price in the home? And are they pricing their equipment high enough?
Yeah.
And then after they make those sales, what are you doing with your profits?
Mm-hmm.
Are you just paying rent? Are you just breaking even and paying your bills? Or are you able to take some of your profits and put it back into the company to put another truck on the road, to expand your physical business, you know, to build out upstairs? You know, I mean, I think that's where a lot of these owners fail, is I don't think they really understand how to get to the end goal and how to spend the money that they're getting in, right? I mean, and it could go back, it could go back to having bad habits.
Yeah.
You know, not spending enough time on the business and spending too much time at the bar. Like, I don't know. But what are they doing with the profits that they come in? And being able to teach techs to justify the price is huge these days.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to do. But that's why they call me, right? To come in and teach that.
Hey guys, if you like what you see, please like, comment. Even if you don't like it, if you hate it, please put a hate comment on it. Do you think it's fair for the private equity companies to you build your company your whole life, 10, 20 years, eventually you give the company to private equity companies and they buy you on 3 multiplier, or 5 multiplier, and they gain actually out of the 10, 15, 20 multiplier, and you don't even control the company.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
It sucks. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not your money anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just nothing you can really do. I mean, you can choose what private equity company you sell to, because there's tons of them out there. I mean, if you want to go around and start interviewing private equity companies, you know, that's up to you.
Yeah.
But you have zero control over that. Once you let it go, you let it go. You should have kept it if you're pissed about who you sold it to. But inevitably, unless you hand it down to your family, that's where it's going to go.
Right.
Because it has to continue to grow or else it's going to die.
Yeah, look, all private equity companies are different, right? Like you have to really do some due diligence of who you are giving to and what kind of acquisitions they did and what happened to those acquisitions.
You would know a lot more about that, I think, than I would. So why don't you tell me? Tell me, what kind of private equity company should we sell to? I mean, should we sell to one that already owns 4 or 5 companies?
No, you want to shop. You want to shop.
Yeah.
You don't want to just a lot of business owner gets that call or gets that email. It's not about that. It's not just one private equity who's doing that. There are like a ton of them, right? We work with more than 10 private equity companies on the buyer side, and actually we do the introductions. We are already private equity backed company as well, ourselves, Home Alliance, and we also do partner up with other private equity companies.
How do you decide how much you actually pay for a company?
So it depends on the multipliers, right? Like if a small companies, the multiplier of EBITDA or SDE, the net profit will be like 2.5, 3 times. Then when the company grows up becomes bigger, it can go up to 5x. The private equity companies we work with, they're willing to pay 9 to 12x of your net profits.
Are you looking at a company to see growth per year?
It is a net profit average for last 3 years. That's how it looks.
Does it? So do they have to continue to have
growth
growth every single year? What if they stay stagnant?
It's okay. It's okay. You're just gonna be basically getting that multiplier off of the average for last 3 years. And then of course the next thing is important is quality of earnings. You cannot mix up your personal stuff and the business and all that. So you have to have a proper clean books and everything. Right?
What about location? How much does that matter?
Location depends on the private equity strategy and who you find. Like if your company is big enough, then you can be a platform company. If your company is small, then you will be the tuck-in company. And it depends who is buying it, that tuck-in company. So let's say in LA, the private equity would buy one of the biggest companies, let's say whoever is doing like 50 or 100 million, and then the rest of the smaller companies, like of few million, would be the tuck-in companies. And the platform company, they would pay a high multiplier, and the tuck-in companies, the multiplier would be a little bit less.
I'm lost. That's why I do what I do and you do what you do. That's great.
But in general, whenever someone offers you to sell your company, you don't want to just jump on it, right? You want to make sure you want to shop as well. At the same time, you want to actually talk to other private equity companies as well who are going to offer you the best multiplier, number one, and what is going to be the offer details, how are you going to be able to cash out, then what they're going to do with the company and the culture.
Right. So if I'm a business owner, I may not just want to sell to the highest.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Person who offers me the highest number, but
Highest number.
tell me what you're going to do with my company after you buy it, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
What if the PE company doesn't do what they said they were going to do with it?
You
Does that
cannot
stuff have
do
to go in
much.
contracts and
you,
stuff, or-
you cannot do much. You can buy it back if you want to. That's another thing. But
For more money.
more money.
Of course, right? Got to pay my lawyers.
But what you can do is this, look, once you sell the company, if you want to do good to your people, you can actually pay them bonuses or whatever things. Like no one is going to stop you to forward some of your, whatever, the wealth you generated of the company to give it to your people.
When I first met you, I think one of the biggest reasons why I signed on with you is because you were a master of marketing.
Yeah.
You assembled a team. This was right when Service Titan was actually just starting to come out, because you showed me on your computer. You're like, look at this. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. I still write everything down on paper. Tell me your, like, don't give away your entire marketing strategy, but how did you build a company so fast, so quick, and get so many good reviews from your customers?
So basically, look, it's our one of the main core values of our company is customer obsession. We make sure every single customer is happy, right? We do everything right. Whenever we distribute jobs, we do distribute jobs not around the ADL, average dollar per lead, or the closing ratio. We distribute the job around NPS, Net Promoter Score, which is reviews. Now we actually established a logic algorithm where we actually group all our technicians to group A, group B, group C, and the A players have the number one priority on booking and getting those jobs. If the technician does bad job within a month, he drops to group B or group C, and we stop giving the system, not we, system stops gives the jobs to them. So algorithmically, we are actually controlling the job distribution itself.
Like a right tech, right call.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Track,
You continue to perform.
right
You're going to
call
continue
to
to
the
get
right
the good
customer.
calls.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. It's essential to have a team that knows how to do that too.
Yeah.
Right. That's insanely important.
Yeah.
Having one or two people behind the computer that knows the text very well in the field and be like, yeah, that call's not going to that guy.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to do anything with it. Right.
On the job distribution of the tags, on the dashboard, whenever you're assigning the job, the technician will come up on the list with ADLs, average dollar per lead, closing ratios, average tickets, NPS, distance, and all that stuff. So you can use it algorithmically. Who do you want to distribute the job to?
Gotcha.
System will tell you to actually. The dispatchers don't have to think and remember who to give the job to. The system will decide and choose and advise you who to give that job to.
Gotcha.
Depending on the business needs. If, of course, the business is slower, you can, of course, override the system and actually give the job for the technician who will give the highest or average check. If the business is busier, now, of course, you want to move more direction, of course, to the NPS score or the customer experience. That's our highest priority.
Let's talk about this. This is a pretty big controversial topic in our industry. And I mean, I have my own thoughts on it, and I'm guessing I'm going to catch some flack over it, but being that the industry has gone so far when it comes to technology, going from, like a map book to Google Maps and all that, going from writing stuff down on paper to CRMs. What do you think about a company that still pays a majority of their technicians on an hourly wage versus commission?
Look, I tried both. I tried both direction, hourly pay and commission base. And when you pay technicians on hourly base, you're actually dealing with zombies. Instead of getting productive, like motivated technicians, you end up having a zombies, and your job is actually to make them to work.
Right.
When the sales technicians are on commission based, now they're motivated. But of course, you have to control that. You don't want to overdo that commission part. They have to, of course, work for the customer obsession and NPS as well, not just for the sales. Otherwise, they're going to be coming and ripping off the customer, like trying to get as much as commission, highest commission
course.
possible.
Yeah, get
So you
bad
have to kind
reviews.
of, you have to balance it properly. Correct. You have to balance both. But I believe to paying the technicians on commission base for sure, 100%.
Yeah. Do you think that's a reason why a lot of these companies these days are not getting past that $3, $4, $5 million mark in their business?
Definitely, yeah. I think it has something to do with the owner's mindset. He doesn't want to share, but he thinks that I'm already paying you a salary or hourly. Why I have to share with you with commission? But you're not really thinking like paying additional commission will actually increase your checks, and you're gonna end up making more revenue and happy technicians. So, like when I was launching Home Alliance, actually that's what I saw. I thought problem in the industry that the business, the customer, and the technicians, they're pulling the business in three different directions. Like, how can you align them going to the same direction? Like align the goals, right? So that's the main problem. So if you align the technician pay towards the customer happiness, that's the best thing you can do, not just hourly pay itself. So in hourly pay, you have a lot of businesses. I don't remember what is that. UPS probably, USPS.
Yeah.
USPS versus probably FedEx
Exactly.
and DHL.
You deliver 1,000 envelopes today, you're gonna get this much.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
Performance pay, I think, is the best.
Exactly. That's what I feel too. But
And you can even play on the top like performance and tier system pay, or you can actually add scorecards, not just the performance commission base. You have to attach that scorecard the rest of the KPIs. Like it can be closing ratio, it can be customer happiness NPS score, or the office score for you, right? Like when you combine all of those logics together algorithmically, then you're going to get the best experience.
do you think that, let's just say you have a company that's already set up on pure commission scale. That's it. No hourly. There's one guy there that makes an hourly. He's just the brainy guy that goes around and changes coils all day, right? We got to have that guy, I think, on an hourly wage. But let's just say you've made the decision to set your business up to where everybody that's a tech that's in the field is going to be on a commission base no matter what. How hard do you think it's going to be to get new technicians into that company, hiring pool wise, letting them know when they come in for that interview, hey, look, we don't pay an hourly. You don't make any money unless you sell.
There is a way to do it. It's easy. You don't have to tell them right away. You can tell them, but you have to pay them a base. You cannot just put them on pure commission. You have to pay them a base pay, safety net. They have to do the minimum wage.
Do you do like a 90-day, 120
Yeah, of course.
days?
90 days.
Hey, 90 days from now, you're going to
days.
be on pure commission.
Correct. Yes. No, it's not pure commission. You're going to tell them, look, for the first 90 days, you're going to be getting base or commission, whatever is bigger. Of course, we want your commission to be bigger. We want to pay you more. After 90 days, if you are not meeting the minimum requirements and you keep getting the base pay, then you're kind of going to be on termination.
Yeah.
We're going to switch you to commission only. You're going to be terminated.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yes. This way, you are not breaking the law as well, making a pure commission, because you have to still pay them minimum wages. And on the top, you are paying them actually the commission. All our guys actually get much higher than the minimum wage. But look, you still have to, whenever you are switching the pay from hourly to commission, you have to give them that safety net. And you have to show them that their commission is going to be higher than the hourly pay.
But then all the other variables have to really kind of fall into place, right? Your office staff has to get the right information from the customer when they call in. It's got to go into the CRM. The tech needs to be trained on how to read that before they get to the customer's house, listen to recordings, and then make sure that that's the right call for that tech.
Yeah.
Right? Because they can come back and complain to you, oh, I'm getting crappy calls. You're not giving me the right calls.
Right.
You never had that, have you? Haven't had that, have you?
No,
Yeah.
we do.
But those
That-
are all the variables, right?
if they're on purely commission, they're gonna start rejecting your jobs. They're gonna start selecting only like cherry picking the jobs.
Well, they're not allowed to do that, Sam.
If you are paying only commission, how can you push only like taking everything else to? So that's why you have to balance both.
I always say there's no bad calls, just bad customers,
Definitely. No,
right?
that's 100%.
There's no bad kids, just
That's
bad
100%.
parents.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, same thing. And example, a company I was just out at a couple years ago, they were giving all 10s, 10-year labor warranty, 10-year parts warranty, 10-year compressor warranty, sent me and a tech to a 9-year-old system that they installed that was still on a 10-year labor warranty. Still had 1 year left on that labor warranty. I'm like, why are you guys sending me out to this one? They knew more about me than I knew about myself.
Uh-huh.
And I went out there and I closed that deal for like $11K. Showed me a lot more about myself than I knew. So yeah, it's absolutely true. There are no bad calls, just bad customers. And I think it's the same way with technicians these days too.
No, in the past, what we did is we were allowing the technicians to see the job description.
Uh-huh.
We kind of hide it now.
Yeah.
Because they start pre-selecting the customers, pre-selecting the jobs.
Yeah, they shouldn't be able to do
They
that.
should not be able to do that.
No,
Correct.
one call at a time.
Yeah, well, I did even mistake of actually letting them listen to the conversation with the customer on the booking.
Look, we're gonna prejudge.
Yeah.
No matter what. It's human nature. We're going to prejudge our call. We're going to if you're a good technician, you're going to dissect that call in that CRM before you get there. But after you prejudge, get over yourself.
Right.
Get over it. I don't care. You send me to a 1 or 2 year old call that we installed. I'm going to find something that's going to improve that for the customer.
Correct.
That's the way that we need to teach these techs how to think. And you got to start there. I can't start by giving you the 20-year-old no-cools.
Yeah.
Right? So I agree with you on the pure commission scale, but I also feel like no matter what, you should be able to get that tech to within 6 months to nothing but 100% commission. You pay them $20-25 for each maintenance that they go to, and then on top of that, whatever they sell, they get 16 to 20% of anything that they sell and install, and they get anywhere from 3 to 12% of anything that they actually sell on the job.
No, definitely. I believe 100% commission based.
When would a technician be ready to go from just selling service to actually being able to do the flips themselves? Because there's not a lot of people in our industry that actually can do that. It's either one or the other. It's really, I mean, a lot of the companies I've been out to, they don't even let them see the system price book. They have no idea how much they cost.
I think it comes from the training and from the commission structure. If you put the proper commission structure and you train them, they will be able to do that.
How do you do it without blowing these leads?
Because our business model is a little different than probably most of the companies, because we pay our technicians like 40-50%.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that.
Yes.
I get that.
And the other companies, they don't pay they pay like 10% for sales and maybe 20% for service calls.
You guys hear that? 40 to 50% he's paying out. You're going to get a lot of calls on that. I can tell you right now.
What do you think about the brands? Like, which one you prefer?
Oh man, I'm going to catch a lot of crap over that. A lot of crap over that. The people, my guys are going to see this and be like, "Man, why you bashing York, man? Why you bashing Ream, man?" Like, no, every single system's going to have their thing. Going to have their telltale, things of like what goes what. I can probably tell you by looking at a picture when I go to a customer's house based on the call that came in. I'm like, yeah, it's probably a Ream. Yeah, it's probably a Train. Most of the time, I'm right when I get there. Look, I don't sell on brand name. I never have. The customer is buying you. They're buying your company. Look, if a customer trusts you to change a system out for them, then you better put a good system in there that's not going to break down and not going to cause them problems. Look, they called you because they don't know anything. They don't know how to do it. They don't know what size they need. They don't know what brand they need. All they saw was a commercial that said, "You can't stop a train," And, well, they're masters of marketing, but look, they're pieces of crap. Sorry, they're pieces of crap these days. I'm probably going to get a lawsuit from Train from this, but look. I mean, my favorite's going to be Carrier and Goodman just because of history.
Yeah.
Goodman merged with Daikin back in like 2018. They've vastly improved the product. Goodman used to be like the cheapest one out there and broke all the time. It's like a Janitrol. It used to be called Jana Junk. It's like one of those things. But like, look, if you're going to run a service company, you better pick a product that's got low failure rate, that you're not going to have to continue to go back and service. And that's all. And again, that goes back to training your technicians on how to run that call. Most of the systems that I sell, I don't even tell them what the name brand is because it just doesn't come up.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. They trust me to install something that they're not going to have a lot of problems with. I'm fresh out of school, right? Fresh out of college. Why would I want to go into HVAC, plumbing, and electrical these days?
I think a lot of the next generations of millionaires in America, they're going to be the plumbers, electricians, and HVAC in home services in general. Mm-hmm. And I think every single the junior out of the college students, every single young generation guy should come to the trade.
Why would they not want to go to school for 6 years to be a doctor?
Because look, with AI and automation, a lot of trades going to be replaced with AI.
You don't think this one's going to be?
No, it's not going to be.
No?
No, it won't be, because look, you can replace the developers, software, the engineers. AI is already doing it, right? Accountants is going to be replaced. Whatever you can outsource, whatever you can do, like same thing predictably, AI and automation will replace it. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to home improvement, it's a lot of moving parts. It's really hard to build a production line. You have to still come and measure, calculate. There is the communication. People like baby boomers or millennials, they want that, have that personal touch and feeling and have a conversation. They buy from people. You cannot really automate that part in sales. Like you cannot automate, like even in solar, you can automate the sales. You can automate the installation, because like same production, because the roof is flat. But in HVAC, it's hard. It's unpredictable because every single house is different. Dimensions are different. The size is different. One has a package unit. Another one has a split unit with condenser or furnace somewhere. It's like unpredictable. A lot of moving parts. You cannot really, like, it's the plumbing, same thing. We still have to live in the same houses.
Yeah.
You're not going to demolish, unless it's Pacific Palisade. You're not going to like demolish all of the houses and build cookie cutter house. Like a lot of things are cookie cutter, like identical production line. And if you can digitalize and break it down on SOPs and move it to algorithmically, you can actually like delegate it and put it to robots in there. But home service, it's hard. So that's why I believe for next 10, 20, 30 years, home improvement won't be replaced by robots. So a lot of wages going to be going up. A lot of millionaires going to be created in home services. That's what I would advise to any younger generations, like start looking instead of going to like becoming a developers. I don't know, like
let's just say let's say I don't have a dad that's gonna drop an HVAC company in my lap when he retires, right? Let's say I don't have that, which most don't. How do I go? How do I even start going from a tech to trying to get my own license and open my own firm, open my own thing? And
so look, in Home Alliance, we have a new program. We have a new partnership program, kind of a similar to licensing or like franchise, but with your own brand. We help basically come and register your company, register your license. We would help you with all of that, and we help you to establish your own business. And plus, we support with call center, recruiting, sales training. We'll bring Scott to train you, train those
for
guys.
A big fee.
Yeah, we will bring accounting. We basically like do whole thing for you. We'll support you to actually grow your company, because when that the plumber or HVAC or technician, they're not really business people. Like they know how to do the work, they know how to do the sales, but they don't know the business aspect.
You don't think it's essential for somebody who wants to start a company to know a lot about that, like technically, the business technically?
You mean the business or technically?
Yeah, like if I want to own an HVAC company and sell it in 10 years, but I don't know a whole lot about HVAC, how hard would that be for me?
You don't have to know the HVAC you can hire those people.
You can hire people to train you on how to do it?
Yeah. Or you can you buy a ready business as well.
Ready-made.
Ready.
Right.
Ready from another.
Buy it off the shelf.
Correct.
Right.
And you can, because the management and doing the work is two different things. being on the field.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, being a good operator is more important than actually knowing the trade itself. If you really look successful entrepreneurs in home services, we know one in LA, right? I don't think he was doing installs or like he was doing sales.
Uh-huh.
He basically came and built an operationally. And I came was a similar way as well.
Mhm.
I know the operation part. I don't really know the trade itself, like
Sure.
how to install, how to repair stuff. Like I knew it on the previous business I did, commercial laundry repairs, but when it comes to like appliance repair, HVAC or plumbing, electrical, I don't have to know that trade because running a operation, running a marketing and sales, recruiting people, it's a different skill set you have to know now. So that's where we can actually train them to do that part.
You think it would probably be valuable to have maybe a partner or two that does know that?
Yes,
That is
definitely,
more
definitely,
technical about the
definitely.
actual
Definitely.
service side of that
Definitely,
business.
Definitely. Yes. So when you have a partner, everything's much easier, much faster.
Going out alone never works, does it?
Yeah. Going alone works if you want to go fast, but if you want to go far, you have to go together, right?
Yeah, I didn't get as far as I got in this business without having a Rolodex in my phone of people that I know that I can reach out to me like, what do I do here? I have no idea. I don't want to sound stupid, but how do I do this? You know, huge in our business, massive. I mean, it wouldn't even have come close to where I'm at now without having those people that knew more than I knew.
I think a lot of people, like who's on the field, who's selling, or who's installing, or who's doing repairs, they can easily open up their own companies, and I think they should.
Mhm.
And it's nowadays with technology, with access, it's much easier than before.
Hmm.
And you don't need a big capital for that to do that.
Hmm.
And especially with our ecosystem, what we do actually, it's much easier, much faster to do that. And you don't have to know all of that. Basically, on weekly calls, we teach how to do that.
How do you convince a company to hang it up,
What do you mean?
sell?
How can
You're not basically you're basically letting them know, look, we'll take it from here. You're not doing it right.
First of all, I think it's selling a company is also building a relationship,
Uh-huh.
becoming a friend, and actually getting aligned with the goals. Because the company, for the business owner, is their baby.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that the baby or son or daughter goes to the right hands, right? Kind of a thing. And you kind of care because you put all your soul and your life to that business.
So you're saying the sale doesn't happen overnight?
No, it's
Oh
not.
man, I thought it was just like, hey, write me a check right now. No, so a lot of mentoring goes into it then.
Mentoring, or like, I would ask the one question. I would ask him, like, where do you see yourself, your company and yourself in 5-10 years? Like, what is your ideal picture? What is the succession plan? And like, when you ask a succession plan, everything changes.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people don't think about the succession plan. They just work, busy,
Sure.
but don't really think what's going to happen after.
Yeah. Why are you doing what you're doing, right?
Why did you start the business from the beginning?
What's the end game?
You start the business for the freedom, but instead of gaining it and getting a freedom, you became a slave of your business. So how can you get out of it?
That is so
properly?
true. That is so true these
Yeah.
days. Yeah. If you don't kill it, it'll kill you.
Yeah. And a lot of people actually, a lot of baby boomers, because of during the COVID, and at that time they start thinking and they start selling or thinking about getting out. Or they even shut down businesses
Huh.
because they start understanding actually living a life is not actually like running and being a company. Just imagine if you could sell your company for 5 million or 10 million, and you can have a QSSBS, like that is a thing. You don't have to pay the taxes for that company up to 10 million. And that's it, you're golden. Go whatever you want, islands, drink your pina coladas,
Yeah.
enjoy the life,
Exactly.
travel.
Well, there's some people that own these businesses that just can't seem to get ahead. And I don't know that they really understand what they're doing wrong, whether it's their habits,
Yeah.
what they're doing with the money, what they're doing in their personal life,
Yeah.
if their personal life is affecting their business life, or if they're just not hiring the right people.
Right.
Like, what do you think it normally is when you go to buy a company?
I think it's their mindset.
It's their mindset.
It's the mindset itself, right? It's a mindset itself. It's a strategy. They're not really thinking like about the next 3 years, about the next 5 years. What is the exit strategy? If you build it backwards, like there is a book Amazon called Working Backwards. If you build it backwards, it's much easier to build it. So like, let's say, okay, I want to sell the company in 5 years. I want to sell for 10 million. That's it. Just put that target in 3 years, whatever the target is, and we can help you with that. And actually build it backwards in order to sell it in $10 million. What kind of revenue, what kind of EBIT I should have, what's going to be my multiplier, how I see it, what I'm going to do with that money. And that's it. You actually build it backwards. It's easy. Now we have a target. You have a deadline. Without the deadline, the putting a goal is just a dream, right? You have to put a deadline as well.
Frugality is important too, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's massive. Don't pay yourself a bunch of money just because you got it coming in. Don't pay yourself a bunch of money right now. So you think business owners should be taking a really, really small salary from themselves until they sell? Do you think that's going to grow their business faster?
Yeah, I believe when you are paying yourself $1, you're hitting yourself like 10 times or 20 times. Why? Because you're hitting your valuation.
Sure.
Like during the growing the business, I would take myself as less salary as possible. So then I can actually maximize my company valuation and exit.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Because every single dollar you're taking now, you're hitting your gross potential. Like instead of paying you for the training and growing my company, I'm spending that money elsewhere. I'm taking it away. Instead of putting that money back to buying another truck into the business, I'm wasting it. Because it's like building a business, it's just a journey with a target, right? It has to be a short period of time.
Changing that mindset for business owners. Sometimes it's a daunting task. It's impossible to do.
I think with the right question, it can be done. With the right question, hopefully if someone's watching this video, they're going to understand and probably they're going to think over what they're doing in the business.
What about stuff like the CRM? Like I know you got your own and everything and you're working on it. I won't get you to talk to me about that. But look, I've been working with Service Titan since 2017. But I've also worked with other companies, with other ones like House Call Pro and Field Edge and all that. And personally, I can't see being able to sell like I do off of another CRM because of how long it takes me to run a call. Because I'm extremely efficient in the field, and that really helps me to do that. But what about business owners choosing the right CRM, choosing the right financing option to make it easier for the technicians in the field so they don't get excuses from those technicians in the field?
I think they have to also think different ways, right? Like when you are choosing the right CRM, CRM is not a cost. CRM is add-on value, what it does to your business.
Should be a net zero expense.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I think a lot of businesses
don't
don't see that.
But we should not think of it as a cost. We should think of it as a tool. What actually increase your company gross potential, your revenue, and valuation as well. Because private equity would buy the companies with certain CRMs, certain accounting systems, certain HR systems, or they will implement still. If they buy it, they would implement it. But if you already have a proper CRM, you can sell your company much higher valuation.
So you pretty much have to have the right decision-making process within your company on all of these aspects to attain your final goal and continue to grow every single year.
Your company should be always exit ready. Exit ready means you don't have to sell your company, but you have to always go to the market every year. I do that same thing. Every year, go to the market, ask how much my company worth. And the brokers will tell you, or the buyer will tell you, your company worth 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million. Why? Because of these things. I don't like this. That's it. You just got a strategy, what you have to correct in order to increase your company valuation. They will tell you, the market will tell you
Yeah.
what you have to correct, what you have to fix.
How much does memberships play into a company's value?
Man, the membership has a great, like one of the biggest, I think.
Because there
impacts on
are
the
some
company
people in our
valuation.
industry that would beg to differ on that, that they think that they can literally just install a thermostat in somebody's house and not worry about a membership with a customer.
No, without the company, without the membership, our company valuation would not be 100 million. It would be just transactional business, which doesn't have much value. So we are all in on the membership. We are all in on subscription.
Yeah.
If the company, the business home service company in HVAC doesn't have a membership, you have to think twice because your multiplier will be twice less.
But the number of members that they have within their company that have already bought into that company that says, okay, you're my company. When it breaks, I know who to call now. Is really big for you when you buy a company.
Correct. Right. Yes, it will increase the valuation and it will give the certainty to the buyer. So the private equities now, because you have a certain pool of books.
Because again, there's some people in our industry, I think, that you can just go and install a smart thermostat on somebody's wall and it can literally start beeping at the customer and being like, call us. We don't need your membership. Call us. We'll fix it for you. So they're literally installing a thermostat to tell the customer when it breaks, you have to call us, versus actually having them as a bought-in member to the company. They're out there.
Yeah, no, not sure. I think it can work, but I think the membership is still important because that you have to have that recurring revenue mix. That the private equity will value that company much higher.
It's a big part of
purchasing
a company when evaluating that company.
Correct. Yeah, it will actually like even 10-20% of your revenue of your company, if it's coming as a recurring revenue, will double your company valuation.
When do you decide to sell a company?
When the price is right.
When you let's say you buy a company for $5 million, how do you know when to sell that company? When it gets to 10? When it gets to 15?
No, when you are buying a company for $5 million, you have to actually buy with the plan of exiting in 10. So like I'm buying it for 5, I want to sell it for 10. It's going to take me a year or two. I don't know. Like it depends on the strategy why you are buying a company, or when you are building a company, you have to have the exit in mind. You don't have to sell it. You go to the market and find out what is your valuation of the company, then have your exit and deadline in place. Say, okay, I'm going to sell it in 10 million. My price, I'm good with 10. Then look, it doesn't mean you basically sell, go to some island with pina coladas and retire. No, you can actually go have a break for 6 months or a year, come back, enter the market again. And you're going to play a completely different game. I don't believe business is a marathon. I believe business is a sprint. You can do much better as a sprint. I had a mistake of building. I thought like I'm going to be building like a company for $1 billion for 10 years, 20 years. No, it's much better to build a business with sprints instead of marathons. Let's say Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He would not be multi-billionaire.
400 billion.
400 billion. Yes, I think he's going to be the first one who's going to be doing $1 trillion. If he would just stick with the first company without selling it. He basically sold the first company, exited, sold the second company, exited, third one, he plays sprints.
Yeah, so you're house flipping HVAC companies.
Yeah.
How important is it to have a wrap that is very memorable, that you know what truck is coming 2 blocks down coming at you?
Look, I think if you are in a smaller town, it's more important.
Really?
Yeah. In the big cities, in big cities, you cannot make noise. New York, LA, big metropolitans, it's hard to make noise unless you have a huge budget. If you have if you're running already like $10 million shop in big city, now you can spend money on billboards. But for the small shop, I don't think it's worth it.
Your CRM.
Oh man.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I gotta know. The Sardor CRM. You got to tell me the story.
We have our own built-in Apollo CRM. It's really combination of probably Service Titan and other CRMs out there. And we are the first one who actually came up with Zillow house pricing add-on there. Like every time you put the customer address, it will show the house value, how much a house worth. So the technician can use that information actually.
If the technician actually clicks that button.
Yes, correct.
You have to train him how to click that button.
Yes. And I think then later House Pro, I think add that thing function now. after that. But actually, we came up with that first. But I think the CRM Apollo was one of the biggest mistakes.
Apollo.
Yes, not launching it, not building it, not launching it fast enough to market, because I kept it for myself and I continuously building it like a mad science, like developing it and adding more features and functionalities. Like after 10 years, I have massive enterprise resource planning kind of ERP solution, not just CRM. So if I would launch that CRM in 2017, probably would compete with Service Titan at the moment. Like probably that's my kind of $1 billion mistake. Because of that, our CRM, custom built CRM, we can actually automate on the call distribution. We can automate the dispatch distribution, technician distribution.
You can automatic write tech right call it.
Correct, yes. And we are even doing it on the calls now. On the call level, what we do is we are on the first stage of AI distribution of the calls. And later on, we're going to be going into stage 2, stage 3. I'm going to tell you. On the stage 3, it's going to automatically distribute the calls to the best performance agent. Now, monthly, we manually group those agents to A, B, C groups. And the group A will get the first call. Group B gets the second call. And group C gets the third call. Automatically actually puts the best sellers or who gives the best customer service to the front, and they get the best chance. Like normally in call center world, there are 2 distributions: flat, all agents get the calls at the same time, or round robin. That is the 2 logics. We have a completely different approach. We have an AI approach. We distribute the calls algorithmically, programmatically to the proper agents in the right time. And when the existing customer calls, that agents who talked before get the same call.
Is that based on the previous performance of that?
Yes.
CSR.
Correct.
It gauges their performance on previous calls.
Yes, revenue per call. Otherwise, like if the most of the call center users, whoever picks up the first, it's efficient call center agent. No, it's not. It's a wasting calls. Like picking up, you don't like the customer accent or what the problem talking, you hang up and you get the next one, you make more commission. That was the yesterday approach. But the tomorrow's approach, what we are doing is not just commission, we calculate what kind of NPS they brought to the company, if the customer is liking it or not, the company, and what kind of revenue they're generating, and we distribute the calls according to that.
Don't give Service Titan these ideas right now, man. You're gonna steal it.
It takes a lot of time actually to build the same thing.
Exactly.
It took us actually 10 years now to build a spam filter now. We just came up, like for 10 years, we were having a hard time. We had all our call center agents had to deal with spam calls. Now we actually have a tool. We actually came up with technology who blocks the spam calls and only actually lets the clean calls go through the call center.
Elon Musk. Back to Elon Musk. Same thing. You know, that's why he's not crazy about the patents.
Yeah.
Right? It's because it stops progress.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it out. Try and stop it. So great on that in our business, culture-wise. Of course, culture is culture. It's not. Has nothing to do with race. Just culture.
Yeah, but I think there are important points. You can be a technician, being an immigrant. Most of the Americans are forgivable. They okay with that. They're not going to tell you like you're not American, get out. But you would kind of see that in other countries. You would see that kind of a discrimination actually. You don't see that in US. That's why actually the US is kind of, I think that America is a land of opportunities on that way, right? But when it comes to closing ratio and success, I still believe the frontline guys have to be native. The native have a higher conversions. Especially on salespeople, I would make sure for the immigrants it's harder to close. They can close the service tickets. They can do the repair, services, maintenance. Because customers more on desperate situation, they would be okay to pay for the services. But when it comes to the comfort advisor, and I believe it should be either immigrants who's a second generation, or they have to be Americans. Like Americans, I mean, who actually went to the school here, who actually speak the same mentality, because they can relate much faster, much better, I think, to the locals.
I think when somebody from a different country is going in and running a call, they have a lot. They do sometimes have an advantage though when they run into a customer of the same culture.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
They have.
Yeah.
I went to Tampa to work with a friend that I used to work with like 5 years ago. Tried to run calls. Every single customer I went into was Hispanic, and I closed like 10%. And I went back to him, I was like, what's going on? He's like, they just don't trust you guys.
Yeah.
And he would go in and close every single one. And it wasn't like he would speak Spanish to him or anything. It's like that.
Yeah.
It was not a race thing. It was just a culture thing.
Yeah, because we basically become friends with most of the same culture, first of all.
But it does also help that you can speak their language, because then you can just pitch in your native language, right? Much easier. That's why I wish I knew more Russian, right, and more Spanish.
Yeah, I saw one of the problems. Like in the beginning, I think we were also more Russian speaking in the company. Then we actually changed the culture. Now, like then we start pushing like English only. Now we kind of more diverse. And when it comes to the customer supporting blocks, customer care, we have more English speaking, and even on the management itself, we have more. We are mix of like probably like my leadership team as well already kind of Americans, locals, to be on the same page, right? Because before I was losing a lot of employees because my management team was only speaking Russian, or like they were talking with other ones. Like that's why I think it's really important to, like in Rome, you have to be like Romans.
Yeah.
You cannot bring your stuff like.
Yeah. I don't think it matters so much, truthfully, in the home.
Yeah.
With customers, because it's the trust factor.
Yeah.
It's a trust factor. It's do I trust that they're giving me the right information and a price that fits that? It's a relationship building type thing. Even if you don't speak perfect English, it's trust.
Even if you put like frontline guys, if the sales guys are Americans, your management team also have to be at least second generation, so they can relate as well. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, like if you put like that big difference, it won't work as well. It's a kind of art of building an organization structure.
And your install teams are almost always from a different country, from different culture.
Correct.
Too.
And you have to make sure their kind of field managers can understand that culture.
Sure.
And I think that the problem, if you don't follow those rules, and you might make those kind of mistakes, and you're not going to understand why my culture is not working in my organization.
Yeah.
And one of the things actually we start applying, it's a generation personalities on generations, like making sure if you are 90% of our customers are baby boomers. Mm-hmm. In order to serve baby boomers, they have to be either baby boomers or millennials.
Yeah.
They cannot be Gen Zs. Uh-huh. So like, and then we start actually restructuring the organization. Customer support, they have to be millennials, a little bit older, because they're going to be talking to the baby boomers. Now, when it comes to the marketing, we cannot put baby boomers in the marketing or millennials. They have to be more Gen Zs.
Interesting.
So because they're more techy. So you have to kind of build the organization as well, depending on generations.
Since I come to the business, man, it's changed a ton. Got to keep up with it.
Yeah, if you have a B2B business, a commercial, then you have to make sure your salespeople also kind of either baby boomers or millennials. Uh-huh. Gen Zs won't be able to sell it because they don't have enough patience to wait 6 months or 1 year for that sale.
You hear that, Gen Z? Have more patience, man.
And have respect for baby boomers. Scott, thanks for joining this podcast. It was really insightful, helpful. I believe everyone liked it. And I look forward to seeing you more in other videos, and hopefully we will shoot more. Maybe we will come on the field.
Stole the words right out of my mouth. Insightful was definitely the right word for that. Yeah, thank you, Sam.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah.